My question would be, and maybe is regarding bullet 5, what level of government governs pharmacies? I mean, along the same questions. If we're going to pursue the pharmacy route, and maybe we can build the consensus around your direction, but I don't know who governs pharmacies. And my goal and your goal are the same, I think, in this issue. You want to allow for a free market, but I feel like this particular product is not free market. It's black market and overregulated. So I'm seeking actually what I guess I'm trying to find common ground or interest in, like, okay, but it's not a market right now. It's governed by us. So to be free, we could at least develop some sort of policy. Because it's not clear. Either no, we're not going to do it, or yes. And I don't know who's going to be around. I have the sense that you're not going to move anywhere, and that's yeah. And I get a sense you're not, and that's fine. But we have to, if we don't decide tonight, because the numbers, it is still, we don't have a decision.
No, it's
dead.
Effectively.
It's dead. Oh yeah.
There's a decision. It's dead.
If it's not continued, yeah, it would have to be in the mix of all the other issues. Maybe not. At the next agenda-setting meeting,
you could bring it up.
Could put it right back on the agenda because we don't have a definitive answer.
Correct.
Or any other. So.
We get an opinion from the city attorney on what the technical status is of a motion that dies because it's a split vote. Is it dead? Can it be rebrought?
I'll start with you.
I was trying to pay close attention. I did not see a motion that was 3-3 on moving forward. I saw a motion on continuance and some nod counting or head counting. So
No, we voted to continue.
Was it actually?
There was a motion on, I think, on the staff analysis.
On continuing.
Right.
Oh, no, you're right. There was. You're right. Continue, and it failed.
But to answer your question, even if a motion continues to fail, until the council decides to move on to the next item, or someone makes a motion to table or postpone, the item would still be in play. In other words, you could try a series of motions before it's dead.
The item's still in play right now. Councilmember Means.
Right, and I guess what I'm saying is if we don't know the answer to the pharmacy question, whether that could use the channel, I think we can look at that and see what the answer is. Okay, and maybe it'll turn out that it can't happen that way. Okay, but at this point, I haven't heard anything clear as to why it can't happen that way. All I've heard is arguments like this is a special good and needs to be treated a certain way. And again, I think you might get another vote there from one other council member as the proper channel for this. But there's all kinds of prescription drugs that go through pharmacies, and we could name all. I mean, the one that was listed here tonight, which was a concoction of several pain relievers. And so I'm willing to look at that channel. I'm not convinced as if it's illegal, it won't be any different than we already have it illegal at the federal level. I mean, we already have that conflict right now. We may not be able to resolve the federal issue ever with this. So, I don't see where that loses anything.
I'll recognize Kasperzak and then Perry. I do think that there have been a couple episodes, I don't think it was with this council, where we've had 3-3 votes when someone's absent. And one of them was, the first meeting of the year, actually, on a prevailing wage, I think it was. And it was unfortunate. But, people are absent. I was gone. And I felt like, boy, I would have liked to weigh in on that. And maybe I would just last-ditch encouragement to vote at least to continue, at least allows our 7th member, and why we have odd numbers, in some cases, to weigh in on the issue. Just another check on the I guess it was a motion that already died, but Kasperzak, then Perry, then Perry.
Yeah, question back for the city attorney, and I'm spending a lot of time with Robert's Rules of Orders the last couple of days, so I'm really trying to figure out the process. My understanding is that if a motion really fails, like it's a 4-3 against, that issue is dead and cannot be raised again for a year or some given amount of time, absent a motion to reconsider, which can be brought by a member of the council who was on the prevailing side at the next council meeting, which is why I brought the motion to continue rather than a substantive motion. If I understand the process correctly, since we haven't ruled on a substantive motion, or we haven't decided definitively one way or on the substantive motion, that the matter could be re-agendized at a future meeting when we might have a full council, and that would be appropriate. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I'm not sure I would apply the same structure as the one-year rule is generally the only places that exist in our city laws are with planning decisions and I think heritage tree decisions. So we haven't adopted that rule. There's lots of Robert's rules we have not adopted. So as a general rule, with this is a policy matter and a legislative one at that, I think you have a great deal of latitude in terms of this evening. In fact, if the council wanted to re-entertain a motion that failed or even passed during the continuing discussion, saying they can.
And I'm not as proficient as you are in Robert's rules, and we don't have the reference here. So let me go to Councilmember Perry and then Pear, and then see if we can maybe entertain another motion, give it a shot.
Yeah, I'm going to try something here to minimize the impact on staff time and bring in pharmacies, which is, rather than to do it again at a council meeting, which I think brings at least me to my worst, if not others, to bring this back at a study session to discuss the Santa Cruz ordinance, the ordinances in San Francisco, and the possibility of doing it through pharmacies only. So we just have to look at those three, ask two counties their experience, and find out what the impact would be in trying to do it through pharmacies. So keeping the big stuff on the table, but prune it down so there's not a large staff impact. And we'll make that as a motion.
Okay, let me just make sure I understand the motion. Your motion is to bring the topic back in the study session with three options: Santa Cruz model, San Francisco model, pharmacies only.
That's correct.
How does that change?
Well, it pairs the options. I'll second to put it on the floor. Can I call the question on that motion? Okay, clarification means, and then I'll go back.
Someone mentioned the Hayward model. So if you want to throw one out, throw one in.
I am happy to include or exclude the Hayward model at your choice.
You want a friendly? Okay.
Okay, I'll accept that as a friendly amendment.
All right. On the motion's on the floor with now four options.
You want to vote on the motion, or you want me to speak?
I thought you were going to speak on the motion.
No, let's speak on the motion.
All right, so let's test. The motion is to bring back the topic as a study session item with four options: a Hayward model, Santa Cruz model, San Francisco model, pharmacies only. Please vote. The item passes 4-2, and we'll schedule that study session. So, do you want to speak?
That actually answers the issue. My issue is going to be one of directly to pharmacies. It wasn't going to be a city issue. It was something much broader than that. But given the current vote, that means it comes back to a study session, which any one of us is free to bring that up at goal setting next time around. So I don't know why I went through this big, long process of Robert's rules and so forth. We haven't changed from other items that we've dealt with on this council.
Let me check in with staff, because we talked earlier about just so you understand, because we didn't know where we were going. Did you understand the intent of the motion and the pieces and, I guess, the staff direction? Because I think staff implication is important to all of us.
What we understood is what we will do is find out information and experience from Hayward, Santa Cruz, and San Francisco, and provide that information, basically, information providing, and look into pharmacies, I guess, in the sense of who controls them, federal versus state, and how it might work in the context of a pharmacy. That's what you're expecting back from staff. Is that correct? Yes, I did.
And it was experience. I mean, I think you meant text of the. I mean, I'm personally not as curious about the text of the ordinance as the effects, the experience. Is that what the intent was?
My picture, do we call the various cities and not just their experience with the ordinance, but their experience with the dispensaries and the regulation overall?
Great.
Right.
Is that your understanding?
That's what we understand. Just to get a feel from a period of time of coming back, because of some study sessions you have, I don't anticipate it would be much before December, before your break, or it might be after your break.
Okay. Well, I will work to schedule those with all the upcoming items. Okay. All right. We made a decision on that item. At this point, a motion is in order to continue to the next item, as it is after 10 o'clock, I believe. Councilmember Kasperzak?
I move